So homework number one, we're gonna build a prep call. Right? So we're gonna prepare for a conversation with, let's say, a new prospect. First one is I want you to pick a hypothetical prospect, so maybe a target client that you want to get into, maybe one that you actually have next week, or maybe even think of a past client that you wish you could have like a do-over. Hey man, this one client just really went sideways, and I think that if it would have gone back in the original conversation and I would have had this set of questions, our call would have gone much better, or it would have helped me not take the customer. Like it would raise all the red flags immediately, and I wouldn't have taken that customer, which has taken a big chunk of my time and anxiety and attention and all that stuff. So that's what I want you to think. So I want you to think of one, or even if you have one active for next week or whatever, just start with that. Second one is use ChatGPT. Okay. Um, you can use ChatGPT to gather some industry facts. You're going to use ChatGPT to brainstorm and create a set of fact-finding questions. Use ChatGPT to brainstorm and use value-driven questions. And again, you don't have to use ChatGPT. If you have someone else that can guide you, if you have a mentor, use your mentor. That's going to be much better. A human is always better than artificial intelligence. But if you have nothing else, like there really isn't any excuses that I don't have anybody else to brainstorm with. And now we're in a different world. Like I've taught, alt accountant to hundreds of people, and I've never given an assignment like brainstorm with a computer. It's always been like find someone to talk to, but that's not even a thing anymore, right? If you don't want to, if you don't have somebody to talk to, then use ChatGPT. So we're gonna go to ChatGPT. So let's say that you're gonna meet next week with a customer that is in the, I don't know, concrete and rebar business. Okay, so I'm gonna tell ChatGPT I am meeting with a new prospect for accounting services, and I'll put in parentheses I am a CPA for a $1 million in revenue, concrete and rebar business in Miami. Press enter. Okay, so I started doing started the prompt, and it immediately starts giving you options. I'm gonna ignore the options for a second, and then I'm gonna say, give me a typical P&L report for this type of business using industry averages. Okay, so the thing already starts giving me a sort of like a P&L report. Okay, you start going through it. Some of the stuff is very generic, right? And then maybe not even that helpful. But maybe you could do something like, okay, how about a detailed chart of accounts that I can import into QuickBooks. And I don't want to get into sort of like the details yet. We're just trying to just sort of discover the stuff that that you can start using ChatGPT to brainstorm. So the thing already starts giving me, okay, this might be what a typical chart of account looks like. And again, some of this stuff you might already know. The point is you're using this to potentially gather a new idea. So for example, we can put here, okay, so we go, what is the average gross profit margin percent for this type of business? Okay, so this tells me that the average profit margin for concrete rebar is 25 to 35%. Okay, then we can put is, what are the top direct expenses that contribute to that profit margin? Okay, and then we press enter, and it's going to tell me, okay, specifically materials and supplies, labor and wages, overhead costs, equipment costs, subcontract costs. Okay, and then now we have we're starting to construct the specific questions that we have. Okay, so tell me about your materials and supplies costs. Have they been going down? Have they been going up? How is supply chain issues post COVID affecting you being able to get materials and supplies? Okay, then I can say, look, watch this. write a set of questions that will help me discover why their direct costs are too high. Again, we don't know that they're too high yet, but we can start. Give me the set of questions, and this is the craziest thing about ChatGPT. Like you start going down this route. Look, there's a very specific set of questions that you can start setting up for your prep call. So, how do you currently source and purchase your materials? How do you have you considered alternative suppliers and negotiating pricing? Can you walk me through your current labor project management expenses? Do you currently manage or track overhead costs like rent and utilities? Can you help me break down your equipment costs and utilization? Do you currently have managed subcontractor costs? Like this stuff, it can just go really, really deep. And then we can go even deeper and go, okay, let's talk about payroll. What are the top challenges this industry has with employees? Okay, and then it's gonna start giving you some facts. Okay, so we have high employee turnover, safety risks, labor shortages, seasonal demand, wage pressure, skill gaps. Okay, so now I'm gonna say, help me write some reflective questions. Remember we talked about the type of questions that will evoke answers from the customer on how to solve these common issues. Okay, and there we go. Questions. What steps have you taken in the past to address high employee turnover? How do you prioritize employee safety? In what ways do you attract and retain qualified employees in the face of labor shortages? How do you manage seasonal demand for construction work? I mean, you can build the framework here for your conversation. And again, a lot of these things, if you're an expert in the subject matter, these type of questions just come naturally. And these type of questions sort of come out in the middle of a very smooth conversation. But if you're about to meet a customer that you're not 100% sure how you're going to advise or what issues you're going to approach, here's a prep. You can do stuff like, what are common business deductions that this type of business would miss on a tax return, something like that. Okay, and I don't think ChatGPT has any of the answers, but it certainly has great brainstorming capabilities. It's good for framing. So we have vehicle expenses, and it goes into deep in there. Home office deduction, business travel expenses, retirement contributions, bad debt, license and permits, charitable donations. This is very generic stuff, but I can go, give me more industry specific. That's too generic. Okay, and then you challenge it and you have it go even deeper. So specific about tools and equipment, specific about material wastage, specific about job site insurance, specific about training and certification. So now all of a sudden we actually have very specific things using their lingo. Okay, what about, let's say, who are the top suppliers of raw materials to this industry? Industry. I would say top suppliers in America. Okay, so we got Cemex, Larange, I don't know how you pronounce that, Vulcan, Martin and Marietta, Steel Dynamics. So some of the things you could do, but I would go something like, hey, the last customer I dealt with bought a lot from Cemex. You guys buy from Cemex? Just something like that, which which it just basically evokes the conversation. It goes, no, Cemex is too big, but I do buy from whatever, and then but you're using the lingo and you're sort of proving that you know and understand what's happening. And let's say, who are some alternative suppliers outside America? Okay, and then we have, these are the companies, right? Heidelberg Cement, CHR, Bussy, etc. We can, which country is the biggest exporter of cement? Yeah. Yeah, and then we have China, right? So we start telling you exactly who the countries are, so you can speak about that. Hey, have you ever bought from China, or like are any of your competitors buying from China? Look, I asked them. You based on your answer. Look, I asked it, what are the most common software apps that this industry uses? And here's like a whole bunch of apps: ProS, Bluebeam, PlanSwift, obviously QuickBooks, AutoCAD, Revit, SketchUp, Procore, Field Grid. Like, so just basically, again, just giving you sort of core information to help you prepare. And again, you also have to look at this skeptically, because ChatGPT could hallucinate, and that's the actual term that they use, which basically thinks this is the truth and it just says stuff. I think 90% of the stuff is going to be accurate, or at least will give you a good starting point. And again, I've never heard of, let's say, this thing, FieldWire. Okay, but then I actually have a word I can Google. So I can go to Google, I can type FieldWire, and I can see what the heck it is. And then I can go here, FieldWire job site management. So now I know the type of software that these people use. And is Hilti. Hilti is a manufacturer of like drills and stuff like that. So then I can go to, like, let's say, solutions, and I can go to like specialty contractors, and then I can go and pick up from the software company. I can pick up here, we have concrete contractors. I can pick up some of the language that they're using here, like let's say here, scheduling. So then you can bring this back into a question, and you can come back here and a question, and you go back to the client and say, hey, how do you manage your scheduling? Like, something it wouldn't even have to occur to you to even ask how to manage your scheduling until you ask what apps that they use, and then you plug the app into Google, and then you look at the app company, and you see, because app companies already done all the research. Like, all these software companies have done all the research about like how to serve, and in many of them, I'm not even there yet. But what I'm saying is, all the research how to serve the client, so they know what the pain points are. So all you have to do is look at what the app companies propose they provide solutions for, and you can start proactively. Hey, do you have a solution for this? Do you have a solution for that? How does that work? If I help you find an app that talks to QuickBooks that can do that, would that improve your life significantly? Again, going back to the mother of all questions, right? Which is, what question do you have for me that if I had the answer, your business or life will improve exponentially? The person would ask you a question is, hey, what app I can use to automate my scheduling so my employees are always in the right job at the right time when they're supposed to, right? So, but the customer didn't even know how to ask that question because you didn't evoke it. Okay, so that's home.